Imagine a world where developing new life-saving drugs could happen like way faster and cheaper than it does now.
Hmm.
That's what Aitia, this company using AI to kind of shake up drug discovery, is trying to do.
Yeah, what I think is really interesting is that they're not just like tweaking the old ways of doing things.
Yeah.
They're trying to completely reimagine how we find and make new medicines,
Yeah, absolutely. And the core of their strategy, at least from what I've read, is something called Gemini Digital Twins.
Mm.
Honestly, it sounded like something out of a sci-fi movie when I first heard about it.
Right.
But once I kind of wrapped my head around it, it's actually pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Can you break it down for us? What exactly are these Gemini Digital Twins?
Well, think of it this way. It's basically like creating this super detailed virtual model of a specific disease.
Okay.
So you could have like a dynamic simulation of Alzheimer's, right? Down to the genes and molecules involved.
Oh, wow.
Like a really, really in-depth simulation.
So instead of doing all the traditional lab experiments, researchers can run like tons of virtual experiments within this digital twin.
Exactly. And that's where Aitia's approach with this causal AI really comes in.
Okay.
Their system, it doesn't just find patterns. It tries to figure out the underlying causes of the disease, like the why behind it all.
So it's not just recognizing patterns, it's actually understanding the cause and effect.
Right.
That's a pretty big jump from like the basic pattern recognition we usually think of with AI.
Yeah, definitely.
Why is this causal element so important for finding new drugs?
Well, because if you understand the root cause, you can target it,
Right.
like really precisely.
Yeah.
But think about cancer.
Okay.
Traditional treatments, they often focus on just killing cancer cells, which can also harm healthy cells in the process.
Yeah.
But with causal AI, you might be able to like pinpoint the exact molecular trigger that starts the uncontrolled cell growth,
Oh, I see.
And then you could develop a drug that just targets that trigger.
So less damage to the rest of the body and a more focused treatment.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so how are these Gemini digital twins actually impacting the biotech world right now?
One of the biggest impacts is like speeding up drug development. Aitia says their tech could cut years off the usual timeline.
Wow.
And it's not just like a theory. In their oncology research, their digital twins have already helped find drug targets that could potentially make people with certain cancers live more than 3 years longer.
Yeah, for someone battling a serious illness, 3 years can be huge.
Absolutely.
But it's not just about speed, right? I think the article mentioned something about better success rates, too.
Oh, for sure. When researchers do these virtual experiments inside the digital twins, they can figure out which drug candidates are the most promising before they even start those really expensive and long clinical trials.
So they're like weeding out the duds early on.
Exactly.
So they can focus on the drugs that are most likely to actually work in people.
Right. It's about being more efficient and ultimately, getting those effective treatments to patients faster.
That's really impressive. So are these digital twins mainly for like making existing medications better? Or is Ada trying to create something completely new?
They're actually really focused on creating first-in-kind drugs. They're not just tweaking what's already out there.
Yeah.
They want to create totally new treatments that target diseases in, like completely new ways.
That's what I call disruption. But they're not doing this alone, right? I mean, they've got some serious support behind them, don't they?
Yeah, you're right. Ada has partnered with some big players in the pharmaceutical world, like Servier and Orion Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
And they're also working with Charles River Laboratories, which is a really well-known contract research organization.
So they've got some serious backing. What specific diseases are they going after with these digital twins?
They're focusing on some of the toughest challenges in medicine.
Especially neurodegenerative diseases and oncology. So we're talking about conditions like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, multiple myeloma, pancreatic cancer.
Yeah.
Diseases that right now don't have a lot of good treatment options.
It's amazing to think that this technology could give some hope to people dealing with these really tough illnesses.
It is.
So Aitia is pioneering this amazing technology.
Right.
They've got powerful partnerships, and they're focused on these high-impact diseases. But there's got to be some challenges, right? Every company has them.
Of course, yeah. Aitia has huge potential, but we got to be realistic. One thing that kind of stood out to me is that there's not much public financial data available. It's hard to get a clear picture of, like, how they're doing financially
Yeah.
without more transparency.
So they're a bit of a financial mystery at the moment. Anything else that concerns you?
Well, they rely a lot on these partnerships,
Right.
which is great.
But it also makes them kind of vulnerable.
In what way?
What if one of those big collaborations falls apart?
Oh, yeah, I see.
It could really throw them off course.
Yeah.
But, on the other hand, they have so much room to grow.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Well, imagine Aitia expanding beyond just oncology and neurodegenerative diseases into totally new areas of medicine.
Oh.
Or, what if they developed even more advanced AI tools for drug discovery?
Yeah.
The possibilities are pretty much endless.
It sounds like they're at a really crucial point in their journey. They have the tech, the partners, and the drive.
Right.
But can they really deliver on these big promises?
Yeah.
And actually bring these revolutionary treatments to market? That's the big question, isn't it?
It really is. And that's what makes their progress so fascinating to watch.
Definitely.
It's like seeing a potential revolution in healthcare happening right before our eyes.
And speaking of revolutions, I think it's time to talk about the people behind Aitia,
Yeah.
the masterminds leading this whole new approach to drug discovery.
For sure.
That's a great point. Every groundbreaking company needs a brilliant team running the show.
Definitely.
And from what I've read, Aitia seems to have put together a real powerhouse.
Yeah.
Let's dive into that. Let's just keep going.
Okay. All right. So let's dive into the minds behind HA, the people leading the charge.
Yeah. Before we seamlessly moved into this part of our deep dive, you mentioned their CEO and co-founder, Colin Hill.
Right.
What's his story? What makes him tick?
Well, Colin Hill, he's got a long history in AI and data science.
Okay.
But he's not just a tech guy.
Right.
He really wants to use these tools to solve real-world problems.
Right.
Especially in healthcare. He's got this passion for it.
That combination of technical expertise and that mission-driven approach seems like a winning formula, especially in a field like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about the rest of the leadership team? Who else is shaping Aitia's vision?
They've got an all-star team. Take Bruce Church, their chief mathematics officer and EVP of research and early development.
Oh, okay.
He's got a PhD and a ton of experience using complex math models to understand biological systems. He's basically the brains behind a lot of their core algorithms.
It's amazing how they've brought together all these leading experts, from different fields, AI, math, biotech, pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
It really shows how interdisciplinary their work is.
Definitely. They knew from the beginning that to really change drug discovery,
right,
they needed a team that could bridge the gap between these, separate worlds.
Yeah.
But beyond the leadership, there's another important piece of the puzzle: funding.
Right.
Where's Aitia getting the resources to pursue these ambitious goals?
That's a great question, and it's another reason why Aitia is so interesting. They've managed to get some serious backing from some big-name investors.
Okay.
Including Amgen Ventures, Celgene Corporation, and several others.
Wow.
Those are, heavy hitters in the biotech and pharma world.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like these investors really believe in Aitia's approach. But has that investment turned into, financial success for the company itself?
Well, that's where things get a little murky. Remember how we talked about the lack of public financial data on Aitia?
Right.
It makes it hard to say for sure how much revenue they're bringing in.
Yeah.
Or whether they're actually profitable at this point.
That lack of transparency does make it tough to fully understand their financial stability.
Yeah.
But, getting funding from such well-respected sources,
right,
it does suggest they're on the right track.
I agree. Those investments from major players, it's not just about potential financial returns. It's a huge vote of confidence in Aitia's vision for the future of drug discovery.
Definitely.
And speaking of the future, let's zoom out a bit and think about the bigger picture.
Okay.
If Aitia succeeds, what could this mean for healthcare as a whole?
The possibilities are, honestly, pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Their success could, launch this whole new era of AI-powered healthcare solutions.
Like what?
Well, imagine AI helping doctors diagnose diseases earlier and more accurately, or even predicting which patients are most likely to get certain conditions. It could be huge.
Yeah, and that's just the beginning, right?
Right. Yeah.
What about, personalized treatment plans tailored to each patient's unique genetic makeup?
Exactly. And we can't forget about drug repurposing.
Right.
AI could help us find new uses for medications that already exist.
Okay.
potentially uncovering new treatments for all sorts of illnesses.
Yeah. AI could also completely transform clinical trials,
Mm-hmm.
make them more efficient, and potentially cut down the time and cost of bringing new therapies to market.
Absolutely. It's really exciting to think about.
It is, but you know what they say, with great power comes great responsibility.
Right.
We have to think about the ethical side of using AI in such a sensitive area, you know?
For sure. We've touched on data privacy and the need for transparency. But there's also the question of accountability.
Hmm.
Who's responsible when an AI system makes a mistake?
Yeah.
How do we make sure these powerful technologies are used ethically and fairly?
Those are some tough questions, and there are no easy answers.
Yeah.
But there are definitely questions we need to grapple with as AI becomes more and more a part of our lives,
Right.
especially when it comes to something as important as healthcare.
One solution might be to create clear regulations for AI in healthcare, like setting strict standards for data privacy,
Okay.
making sure algorithms are transparent, and rigorously testing any AI-powered tools.
That makes sense. And I think it's just as important to have open conversations and educate people about these technologies.
Yeah.
The more people understand about AI and its potential impact,
Right.
the better equipped we'll be to shape its development and make sure it benefits humanity.
I agree. We're at this really crucial moment.
Yeah.
The decisions we make now will determine how AI is used in healthcare for years to come.
For sure.
And companies like Aitia are, leading the way in this exciting and complex field.
Definitely.
But it's important to remember that Aitia isn't the only one out there.
Right.
There are a lot of companies exploring the potential of AI in drug discovery and healthcare innovation.
That's true. Asia has some competition,
Right.
each with their own approach and expertise.
Yeah, for instance, Caris Life Sciences. They're known for their work in molecular profiling and precision oncology platforms.
And what about foundation medicine?
Oh, yeah, they're another big player in genomic analysis, especially for treating cancer.
Right. And then there's Tempus AI,
Yeah.
who are doing some really cool stuff with their AI-driven platform for precision medicine, especially in oncology.
Exactly. And you can't forget about Coda, who focus on using real-world data to improve cancer care, and Procia, who are applying AI to pathology.
Right.
It's a dynamic and competitive landscape, with each company finding their own niche.
So how does Aitia set itself apart in this crowded field? What are their strengths and weaknesses?
That's a great question, and leads us to a closer look at Aisha's competitive edge. Let's dive into that right now.
All right, so we've talked about the competition. What is it that makes Aisha stand out?
Well, one of Aisha's biggest strengths, I'd say, is they were one of the first to use causal AI and digital twins in drug discovery. So they're not just following the crowd.
Right.
They're actually leading the way, shaping the whole field.
But doesn't that make them vulnerable? I mean, couldn't a newer company come along with even better tech and kind of leave them in the dust?
It's possible, yeah. But their head start has let them attract really talented people.
Right.
Build important partnerships and really influence where the field is going. But it's not just about being first, though.
Right.
It's about what they're doing with that advantage, like focusing on these first-in-kind drugs.
Oh, yeah, those groundbreaking treatments we talked about.
Exactly.
It seems like that would really set them apart in such a competitive market.
Absolutely. By going after those new disease mechanisms and creating completely new treatments, they're not fighting for a piece of an existing market. They're creating entirely new markets.
That's a bold move, but it makes sense. If you're the only one offering a revolutionary treatment for a disease that was previously untreatable,
Right.
you're in a pretty powerful position. What about their partnerships? Do those give them an edge too?
Oh, definitely. Those strategic partnerships are another big advantage. We talked about their collaborations with Servier, Orion Pharmaceuticals, and Charles River Laboratories.
Right.
These partnerships give them access to data, resources, expertise,
Yeah.
things that would be really hard and expensive to get on their own.
So it's like they're building this network of allies, each bringing something unique to the table.
Exactly.
It's pretty impressive. But every company has weaknesses, right? What are some potential downsides for Aitia?
Well, one concern is that they rely so heavily on those partnerships.
Yeah.
While it's great in a lot of ways,
Right.
it also makes them dependent.
Okay.
If a key partnership falls apart, it could really hurt their progress.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. Anything about their internal structure, their approach, that raises any red flags?
Well, the fact that there's not a lot of public financial info available
Right.
makes it tough to really assess how financially healthy they are and how sustainable they are long term. More transparency there would be good.
So there's a bit of a financial mystery around them. Fair enough. Let's switch gears and talk about opportunities. Where do you see the most potential for Aitia to grow and expand?
Well, moving into new areas of medicine,
Okay.
beyond oncology and neurodegenerative diseases, seems like a logical next step.
Hmm.
Their tech has lots of potential applications.
Right.
So there's no reason to limit themselves.
Yeah.
Think about infectious diseases, cardiovascular diseases, even rare genetic disorders.
So it's like having this powerful tool that can unlock all sorts of secrets across different areas of medicine.
Exactly.
What other opportunities do you see?
Developing new AI-powered tools is another exciting possibility.
Right.
Well, they could create platforms for drug repurposing.
Okay.
So finding new uses for existing drugs.
Right.
Or go even deeper into precision medicine, tailoring treatments to each patient based on their genes and molecular makeup.
Yeah.
They could even look into personalized health monitoring, using AI to predict and prevent health problems before they even start.
It sounds like they're just scratching the surface of what they can do with their tech.
I think so. Yeah.
Aitia is clearly a company with big goals,
Right.
groundbreaking technology, and a talented team pushing them forward.
Definitely.
They've got tough competition, but they also have some unique advantages.
And their story really makes you think about how AI is changing healthcare,
Yeah.
how important it is to innovate responsibly,
Right.
and the amazing potential to change how we approach and treat diseases.
Their journey is still ongoing, but it's definitely one worth watching. It's a really exciting time to be working at the intersection of healthcare and technology. And if H's progress is anything to go by, the future of medicine could be even more incredible than we can imagine right now.
It's a future where AI could help us unlock the secrets of disease,
Right.
personalize treatments, and ultimately help us live longer, healthier lives. But we have to navigate this future carefully and responsibly,
Yeah.
making sure we're considering the ethics every step of the way.
Well said. And that wraps up our deep dive into the world of Aitia. We hope you enjoyed exploring this groundbreaking company with us.
Until next time, stay curious.